what is going on, YouTube? So today I'm going to talk about the latest addition to my collection, which is this Tudor Submariner Snowflake from 1972, reference 7016. I bought this particular watch shortly after the last video that I did for you guys, which was the State of the Collection 2019 edition. While I never take offers on any of my watches, I did receive an unsolicited offer for my Tudor Black Bay 58 that was just too good to pass up. So sometimes you just can't say no, and I decided to take the offer and sell the watch, and in order to replace the Black Bay 58, I got this, the Tudor Snowflake. So we're going to talk about this guy today. Let's jump right in. All right, so I got the macro lens on the camera right now, and we can take a closer look at this beautiful 1972 Tudor Submariner Snowflake 7016. So the first thing you guys will notice is that the case condition is very, very sharp. So if you look at it here, I mean, it is just beautiful, the lugs. I mean, just retains this nice crisp sharpness throughout. I mean, look at all the lines here. And that bevel right there in the lugs, I mean, it is just gorgeous. And as you can see here, the case is in really outstanding shape. I mean, aside from this one scratch right here that I'm trying to show you, I mean, it is pretty pristine. And of course, I need to say that some work was performed. I don't know how much work, because I never saw the watch before its current condition. But I do know that some work was performed by the guys at LA Watchworks. So Edby and Bo did a fantastic job, as usual, with this particular watch. In terms of the bezel itself, it is in pretty good shape. I would have probably preferred, and I do like some of the ghosted bezels that's out there. So this one, obviously retains more of its original black color. It is probably slightly ever so faded, but not much. And there are a few marks here and there. And of course, with the lume, the lume dot at 12 having fallen off or missing. And I have actually no plans to replace that, by the way. I think it just, gives it some additional character that the watch, quite frankly, needs. So in terms of dimensions of the watch itself, the case diameter is 40 millimeters, and case thickness is 12.8 millimeters, and the lug width is 20 millimeters. I'm not exactly sure on the lug to lug sizing, so if you know, please feel free to throw down a comment below on the lug to lug. I had read that it could be anywhere from 47 to 49, but I'm not 100% positive on that, and don't want to say something that wasn't completely 100% true. So with a lot of these vintage Tudors, as you guys may know, it shares a lot of components with its Rolex counterparts, like the case, the crown certainly. So you'll see the Rolex signed crown right here, and the case back. So I'll take off the NATO here. The NATO, by the way, is a Phoenix Admiralty grade NATO. So kind of like the original OG NATO. So with the case back, you're gonna see Rolex signed case back right here. So Rolex Geneva original oyster case by Rolex, with the Rolex symbol, of course. So let's put NATO back on. And it does have on each of the lugs the drilled holes, the drilled lug holes for easy strap changes. So looking into the dial, you're going to notice the Snowflake Hands, which is a design symbol for Tudor that Tudor is kind of famous for. So as the story goes, and the story kind of has become a legendary story over time, the French Navy requested that Tudor do something different with this particular model in regards to the hands to increase visibility underwater. So that's how the Snowflake Hands were developed. And in terms of the indexes, to further differentiate it from its Rolex Submariner counterpart, Tudor did the square indexes on this guy at each of the 5-minute markers with the upside down triangle at 12 and the longer rectangular markers at 3, 6, and 9. And of course, this one has the Tudor Shield logo on the dial. And the dial itself is in really good condition. So unlike, some of the other dials that I've seen out there, that is, and I don't know what the term is, but it basically looks like pimples or acne, but it's all bubbling up. Doesn't look quite good. Actually looks, pretty bad, to be honest. This one is slightly faded, does not have any bubbling at all, and ever just so slightly faded, so which in my opinion looks really, really good. And the hands and the dial indexes all have a slight golden patina on them. And by the way, I just have to clarify this. In my other video, the State of the Collection video, I think I said patina. And just look at that amazing patina. So oopsie there. I think a few of you guys caught that and made a comment about that. So it is patina, right? So not patina. So slightly golden patina on the hands and dial indexes that all match. And so from what I was told, all original parts as well. So I am missing the original bracelet on this watch, so hence I have this guy sitting on the NATO strap. And now if we want to move into the movement of this watch, when the founder of Rolex decided to create Tudor, he decided to create a brand that was slightly more affordable and accessible to everyday people. So in order to do that, of course, this particular watch shares a lot of components. You see the crown, the case back, possibly even the case, possibly even the bezel. Certainly, if I had it, the bracelet is all Rolex signed. Share a lot of components with Rolex. And in order to also further cut costs and make it a little bit affordable and accessible, these watches do not use a Rolex movement, which are all made in-house. It uses an ATA movement instead, which in my opinion, certainly nothing wrong with that. ETA makes some really great movements. This particular model is powered by an ETA 2483 movement. It features, and let me just pull up the crown. It's just a pretty standard movement. It's roughly about 38 hours of power reserve, 38 to 40 from what I've read. This particular watch is about 38 and a half hours of power reserve. And just pretty standard, 3-hand movement. Pull up the crown here. The second hand does not hack, so RC does not stop when I pull it out to adjust the time, but you know, to adjust the time is actually pretty smooth. So the gearing on this is pretty smooth here. So you guys can tell. So we're gonna put this guy right back here, and it's roughly right. So, and then winding the watch is very, very smooth too. So like I said, this was recently serviced by LA Watchworks right before I bought it. So they did a fantastic job with, you know, the case restoration, whatever work they needed to do there, and with servicing the movement. So we're gonna close this guy back up. And of course, as I mentioned, I do have this on the NATO strap, and I purchased a bunch of NATOs for it. I kind of went NATO crazy. So to kind of start off from left to right, on my farthest left here, I have 2 NATOs from Omega. And over here, I have 2 NATOs from Belong and Son. I got 2 NATOs from Zulu Diver, a couple of NATOs from Haviston. The vintage Bond one, that one is from Crown and Buckle. And then over here, the black one is from Toxic NATOs. This one here is from a company in San Francisco, my hometown, called Adept. So I think it's it was founded by the guys at Worn and Wound, and it's basically spelled ADPT. I might be pronouncing that wrong. So that'll be my Pantina moment of this video. So you guys can correct me there. Next one is a Moose NATO, and then the last one is from Blue Shark, and that is a Zulu style single pass-through strap there. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do here is compare the Tudor Submariner size-wise against this guy. This is my modern Rolex Submariner ceramic, and this is the no date version. So as you could tell, putting them just next to each other side by side, it just comes down to personal preference. The Tudor is a little sleeker, more thin, and then you have the Submariner that's pretty beefy, bulked up, maxi case, maxi dial, maxi crown guards, maxi virtually everything. So it just boils down to personal preference. Personally, I really love both. You know, I think you know, certainly this has its advantages in certain occasions, and then this has its advantages in other occasions. So there you kind of have it, kind of just side by side right next to each other. And then last but certainly not least, I'm gonna just do a quick wrist shot with this. So just put this guy on. All right, so here it is, the Tudor Sub on my wrist. My wrist is 6.75 inches. For those of you that are new to my videos and channel. So this gives you an idea, good idea, how it kind of looks like. So I think it fits really well on my wrist, and it just looks fantastic, especially on this NATO, on this vintage Bond NATO. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to try to do a video maybe once a month. No promises yet. So hopefully I'll see you guys maybe in about a month. I'll catch you later.
Hi.
Oh. I'm going to put that on YouTube.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not. If I see that on YouTube,
Guys, I'm going to put that on YouTube.